So the question is, my team/organization is just starting to use Agile principles. The team consists of a few business analysts that support 3 development teams by fleshing out requirements. I am new to the team and the first product role. In the organization. We currently have issues limiting work in progress and getting colleagues to commit to deadlines. Interesting. My experience with Scrum is extremely positive, and I would like to get our team using the Scrum principles. Currently, Kanban is used, and Scrum is viewed with trepidation. Could you highlight a few limitations of Kanban-only processes and how you see Scrum as an effective way of working? Thanks, CJ. I really like this question because this is the first time that I've actually seen someone that I feel like they are actually using Kanban for the purposes of Kanban, and that is to limit your work in progress and to manage flow. And so what CJ is asking here is, why should we use Scrum? Well, Kanban is great for managing flow. Kanban is great for limiting work in progress. Kanban is great for finishing, to start finishing and stop starting. So you don't get work pushed on you. You have a pull system. It's awesome for that. There are a few things that if you want to implement Scrum with Kanban, you need to understand. First of all, if you're going to implement Scrum, Scrum doesn't change. The framework stays the same. That is number one. So that said, you still have the 5 events, you still have the 3 accountabilities, you still have the 3 artifacts. So form a sprint goal, just like before. Form a product goal, just like before. Have a Scrum Master, right? And now and product owner. Now we've established that. What Kanban doesn't have is Kanban does not have things like a retrospective, right? So that time to inspect your process and adapt new ways of your process. Kanban doesn't have that event. Kanban does not have a sprint planning. Kanban does not have a sprint. That said, the Scrum framework still applies, right? So pick a time when you can come up with a sprint goal and pick product backlog items from that sprint goal and run them through your process, still using your work in progress limits on your board, right? Managing the flow, if you do CFDs, cumulative flow diagrams, and scatter plots and things like that, keep doing those. But the events are really key to having a Scrum or Kanban situation. Have those retrospectives, have those sprint reviews, and it's not necessary in Scrum or Kanban to finish all the work, in your flow. That's a big misconception with Scrum and or Kanban, is to finish all the work. You don't have to. You just have to meet the sprint goal. So the sprint goal is important and the work is secondary. Okay? That's it. So when it comes to those Scrum principles, make sure that you're still implementing the Scrum framework as it's prescribed. It's very non-prescriptive, as a matter of fact, but go through the ceremonies. Figure out why we have a retrospective. It's because we want to inspect and adapt our process, and we're empowered to do that as a Scrum team. The sprint review, still inviting the stakeholders regularly to our formal event of a sprint review to inspect the increment and adapt the new increments. The daily, right? The daily Scrum is so key in a Kanban situation to be able to, walk the board backwards, as I was talking about before, looking at your work in progress limits and saying, oh, okay, we can finish that, and that means we can pull this from the previous column. Being able to, manage your workflow, still key in Kanban, but in a Scrum situation, it is really defining what it done really is. You have a definition of done in Scrum. You don't have that in Kanban, in pure Kanban. So those are some of the ways where I would start to implement a Scrum with Kanban practice. I actually do teach the Scrum with Kanban class, so if you're interested in it, I'd love to set up a private class if you're here, CJ. So that's what I have to say about that. So appreciate the question. Thank you very much.